Hi, Beetle people. How's everybody doing? So, I kind of just wanted to go through some of my collection today because I know I've talked about, um, how I haven't really gone through all of my stuff yet and some of my vinyl that I already had before I started collecting and doing these videos. So, I just kind of wanted to show you guys what I've already got. Here, let's just start with this pile right over here. I actually got this particular record from a friend of mine, and we have George Harrison's self-titled album from 1979 right over here. It's in pretty decent condition. There is some wear and tear down here at the bottom and some sort of like kind of water marks, I suppose, but the rest of the album is in excellent condition. Of course, when you pull this sucker out, you've got the lyric sleeve over here. And then on the other side, you have this picture of George. And of course, I cannot remember the gentleman's name, but this guy, of course, is also featured in the Living in the Material World documentary. But if you look at the actual vinyl here, it is in beautiful, beautiful shape, don't you think? Of course, this is the album that had Blow Away on it, which is, I think, the only single that came off of this record. But there's that. I told you guys that I like to collect 45s and singles. And I saw this in the record shop one day, and I kind of just had to pick it up because I'd never, seen it before. But we have the 12-inch of Paul McCartney's No More Lonely Nights from Give My Regards to Broad Street, which we all know is not the best movie ever. But this was just in such great condition that I had to get it. And also, the only other reason that I had to get it is because not only is it like the extended versions and the ballad version of No More Lonely Nights, but side 2 starts off with Silly Love Songs. And I will argue this till I'm blue in the face that Silly Love Songs is one of the most brilliant songs of all time. I don't care how many people make fun of it. I love Silly Love Songs. And like I said, I will argue that till I can't argue about it anymore. Number one, that bass line that Paul plays is incredible, beautiful, and melodic, and just saying the 3-part harmony at the end, but we're not going to turn this into a video about how much I adore Silly Love Songs. I get made fun of for being a Wings fan anyway. But next on, we actually have the Beatles live at the Star Club, Hamburg, 1962. And I've actually still not listened to this one. But I've had it for a couple years now. And when you unfold it here, got this little gatefold that kind of has a couple of pictures of the Beatles. And then you have the track listing over here on this side. This album came out, I want to say, 1977. And it's got a lot of songs that, the Beatles eventually put on their mainstream records. A lot of the covers that they would do, like Roll Over Beethoven's on here, Mr. Moonlight, A Taste of Honey, Besame Mucho, Till There Was You, Kansas City, Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby, Matchbox, Long Tall Sally. So a lot of the stuff that they would perform in the clubs, they eventually put on their major records. And speaking of Long Tall Sally, see how I did that segue there? I actually have my Record Store Day EP that came out, this was 2015? Still in the plastic. I haven't taken it off. It even has the Record Store Day barcode and everything. But of course it has Long Tall Sally, I Call Your Name, Slow Down, and Matchbox. And then if we keep going with the 45s. Like I said, remember, I like to collect weird ones. I saw this in the store. It was only $2. And I kind of just had to have it, even though it's in the crappiest of condition. You know what? I actually think I talked the guy down to $1 because it was damaged. And, you know, I've seen other ones since, and I need to get them, but I have ebony and ivory going together in perfect harmony. And on the back cover, I mean, come on, look at Stevie. Look at Stevie. Look at that afro. It doesn't get much cooler than that. And on the back, you have the McCartney handwritten lyrics to Ebony and Ivory. I mean, other than Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney holding hands and skipping on the Say 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 45, that's a close second. And then over here I have this Coming Up 45, which the B-side I believe has the live version. So you get two of the same song on each side, because it's coming up like a flower. But probably my favorite 45 in my Beatles collection so far is this copy of I Want to Hold Your Hand, I Saw Her Standing There, that I found. And I can't believe that I was able to get one of these. I'm not positive if it's an original or not. That's something that I've been trying to do research on. So maybe you guys out there in the vinyl community can help me out. It is a Capitol swirl. 5112. I know those numbers usually mean stuff. And it's in pretty great condition. I mean, there is some, just little bits of wear right over here on the label. And I think I got it for such a steal because there's a little bit of writing over here in the top. And then there's some sort of like creasings over here and a little stain right over there. But this is the picture sleeve that still has Paul holding a cigarette. So it's not an airbrushed picture sleeve. So once again, don't know if it's an original 64. I know it's definitely a 60s pressing. Maybe you guys out there can help me figure that out. Now I know that we're all kind of a bit Sgt. Peppered out these days. It's kind of been on overload with the 50th anniversary edition. But I was going through my box and I found something that I can't believe I didn't show this before, because it would have been a great topic to discuss. But I have this Beatles monthly book from March of 1967. So this is right when Strawberry Fields Forever and Penny Lane came out, before Sgt. Pepper was released. The back cover is actually a picture of John Lennon from How I Won the War. And I just wanted to read a little something from here. Actually written in the newsletter section from Frida Kelly. And I thought this was pretty great. On here it says, as you know, the single was released without the usual A and B sides because the Beatles wanted you to decide which of the two you liked better. An awful lot of John's special fans prefer Strawberry Fields, but our fan club mail shows that Penny Lane is the overall winner by a short head. And we've got to admit that Penny Lane is one of the most catchy songs the Beatles have ever done. I mean, come on, they had no clue what was about to come. And, of course, in the U.S. anyway, Penny Lane was the only one that made it to number one. Strawberry Fields Forever did not. But this particular Beatles Monthly is just great. It has amazing pictures, and this was the point in time where there was that lull, where people didn't know, like, oh, the Beatles, they've washed up, they're all dried out, and God, look at him just growing that in. So it's a great little piece of history that's kind of frozen in time. And I think that's why I love it so much. And I'm really glad that I got this particular issue. I got this at a record store in California last year. I think it's Rockaway Records, right? I think it's just a great little piece. And I wanted to leave you guys off with probably one of my favorite pieces in my entire collection. There are only a few things that I love that I'm kind of obsessed with. Basically, my list is The Beatles, Back to the Future, and Batman. I am a huge Batman fan. Now, this particular issue is from June 1970, and it's Batman issue 222 with the Oliver Twists. And of course, this is supposed to be a spoof on the Beatles and the Paul is Dead conspiracy. And if you've never seen the cover before, here they come. One of them is dead, but which one? I'm not going to give any spoilers in case anybody wants to look this issue up, but it's the only comic book that I've ever spent 3 digits on. And very well worth it if I do say so myself. I mean, I love old school comic book art. But yes, no spoilers. I'm not going to tell you the twist ending. It's not what you think. Alright, Beetle people. Well, that's all I've got for you today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I try and put out new videos as often as possible. You can also follow me on Twitter at Caitlin Larkin if you ever want to discuss any Beatles stuff. And I look forward to seeing your little comments down below. So until next time, my friends, peace and love. Bye.